Welcome back, Helldivers, to your daily news update. Now, today we've got quite a bit of news to talk about. We're going to be talking about a new weapon buff, we're going to be talking about the Illuminate release, and we're going to be talking about the whole Sony thing on the country restrictions, on what Johan, the CEO, has given us an update on over the weekend. Yes, as I said, quite a bit to talk about, but it all sounds pretty positive. The Sony thing still seems to be a little bit up in the air, which is very annoying, but it's now Monday, so it's a fresh week, and hopefully we can have lots of positive news on what's going on. Now, if you guys do enjoy today's video, please consider dropping a like and consider subscribing to the channel, as it supports me so much. And let's get in with today's video. So we're going to kick off with something we talked about in the last video, but it links to the weapon buff update, and this was on ARs. Now, someone said to Johan on Twitter saying they also need to evaluate the place of certain weapons in the weapon sandbox. ARs, for example, have absolutely no place even if you aren't super meta concerned like me. They hit like modded BB guns and serve zero purpose. Tagging Johan because might as well shoot the shot. And Johan said, agree on assault rifles. Their representation has become diluted. It's always strange in games where rifles are seen as pea shooters rather than obviously big firing weapons. I'm just going to use that instead. And it is true, it does happen in a lot of games, and the reason why it happens, I've seen it in many games before, is that people want bigger and better stuff, and then the game devs start releasing crazy new weapons and everything. And then weapons, like different weapon types, get forgotten about. And the good thing here is that Johan and the team at Arrowhead are acknowledging this, and they know that weapon balance is a massive thing in the game, and hopefully there will be some sort of buff update dropping very soon to give the AIs a little bit of something. So that'll be good. I'll be very looking forward to seeing what they do to them, and if they give maybe a damage increase, or just whatever they do to them, just please don't make them pea shooters. Yeah, anyway, so next up we have an update on the spear. So someone said, when is the spear's targeting getting fixed? And Twinbeard said, in an upcoming update, I can't say, but fairly soon. Now, something that I remember is that they did actually mention that they think it's going to be coming in, but when Spitz was still at the company, Spitz said that it was going to be coming in the end of May build. So we could be seeing, as long as everything's still on track for the spear's targeting, the last known time we were told, apart from this from Twinbeard, was the end of May major build. So expect to see that maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. Something else I also want to say in this video is a massive shout out to Twinbeard, because I felt so welcomed joining this the Helldivers community. Been doing Helldivers content for about 2 months. The last sort of month it's been really blowing up on the channel, which has been amazing. And Twinbeard dropped me a message and said thank you for all the kind words, and also he said to me that he was happy with how I was very balanced in my opinions. Like, I wasn't just completely just being like, oh, Arrowhead are amazing, or I wasn't just completely being like Arrowhead are the worst. I've just been sort of being honest, and like I always am in every single one of my videos, I will always be honest in my opinion. And if you guys don't agree with something that I say, then be sure to let me know and tell me to shut up. Yeah, this is really nice to see from Twinbeard, and I hope to, even if I became friends with Twinbeard, I'm still always going to be honest, like on anything. Like, I'm always just going to be like, all the time just saying what I feel is right, and I think that's the way in the world to get the best opinions, rather than just completely saying everything's great. And yes, I have fallen into that before, guys, saying every weapon is great or something, but that's just mistakes that happen, and sometimes you end up loving a weapon, sometimes you end up hating a weapon. Next up, we have some interesting news on the Illuminate. Now, if you guys didn't know, Johan on Friday, I think he may have had a few drinks or something, because he said he was watching Eurovision, he actually went a little bit crazy on Twitter, and someone said, this is where all the collabs come into place. I know we're not Fortnite, but still, imagine a Predator live event hunted by them, rewards Predator armor. And that obviously, yeah, would be cool, but Johan said, imagine if there was a predator-like alien species in Helldivers universe that were exiled from the galaxy and planning vengeance. And someone said the CEO be dropping hints at the next faction, and he said, I'd never. But obviously we know that there is going to be the Illuminate like new faction joining the game. There's been all different types of stuff that's been talked about this. Every now and then it feels like we get a day closer to the release of it. And just on Twitter, Helldivers Media posted out new Helldivers 2 leak. Give us an up-close look at the Illuminate. It's the new enemy type. We've kind of seen this before. We kind of know what it's going to look like, and if it's anything like the first game, which most things have been so far, we kind of do know what they're going to look like, and it is kind of a bit like Predator in a way, but maybe like it's very Halo. Of course, that's one thing. Very Halo. But yeah, they look really cool, and I just, like I said in my last video, I really want to hear what, like, if they talk to you, or if they're like what they're actually going to be like, and what weapons they're going to use. And I guess if you go back and look at the Illuminate from Helldivers 1, there's probably lots of videos on YouTube that can give you a good indication about what's going on with them. And finally, guys, Johan gave us an update on Friday about the further country restrictions. So he said, so to give an update on the 3 further country restrictions, it was an administrative error correction. They should have been part of the original restriction, and it was put this was noticed and executed independently by Valve. While it doesn't look positive, it is not an indication of further restrictions. The conversation on region restrictions is still ongoing, and it is independent of this. I have no further information. We at Arrowhead still want the game to be available everywhere. Hope you have a great Saturday, and I'm sorry I do not have a better update. Oh, this was actually on Saturday, but yeah, pretty much all that we can do and all that Arrowhead can do is just keep going on with these meetings, keep talking to Sony, keep talking to Valve, all the things like that, and then hopefully they'll have a further update. They're pretty much even in quite a similar place to us, because they don't really know what's going on. They probably know more than us, but it's kind of out of their hands, and all they can do is just sort of sit and wait for good news, and just keep, as long as you, in life, if you just keep on like kind of pestering an idea or whatever you're working on in a meeting, you'll get what you want if you work hard enough for it. So hopefully this will be some positive news to come later on for the game, because we don't want anyone locked out of it. Like Johan said, once you've purchased the game, you'll be able to play it forever, and they feel awful. They're saying all the time they feel so awful that there's been people that have been region locked out of the game, and it's just, we want our Helldivers back, because I've noticed obviously like a big player count drop is still sort of happening for the game. But that's mainly on Steam. On PS5, the game still seems to be thriving amazingly. As for on Steam, it always seems to drop a little bit at this time of day anyway, but there's only around about 46,000 players, which is probably the lowest that Helldivers has dropped in a long time. I mean, it's still up there with some of the top games, which is great, but something to point out is this is just a low point for the game. Like, there's still always a peak of around about 120,000 every single day, and that probably will look to stay like that for years to come, because it just have such a dedicated fan base. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video very soon. See you guys then.